Coach Whittingham on the sideline visiting with some of his defensive stalwarts over there as the special teams are out, and Selwood prepares to kick it away. That ball may have been tipped, and it comes to the near sideline, picked up on the run, and they're going to have a first down with good field position at the 40-yard line. It was Thurman with some very quick thinking. So, Ed, after the first 15 minutes of play, your assessment of what you saw here.
Well, a team in Oregon that's just trying to find its way offensively, and the kicking game is such a big deal for them right now. They have one of the best special teams coaches in the country in Tom Osborne.
Yeah.
Not that Tom Osborne, but Oregon's Tom Osborne. And that was another heads-up play by Walter Thurman. And now Utah a little bit on their heels.
Well, running play, tried it outside in the left and then had to cut it back up, and it's LaMichael James. And you will see as he walks by his offensive lineman and how small he is.
Unbelievable. Oregon, one of the worst teams in the country, time of possession. We already talked about how much their defense plays.
This time the little guy finds some running room, takes it outside, turns the corner. It's going to be a gain of 6. And Koa Misi at right defensive end. And Koa, number 41, has just been all over this field in this first half. Yeah, look at this right here. This is what I'm talking about. At 5'9", and that might be generous. You see how he is just dwarfed by those offensive linemen. But there are some advantages to that because he also can hide behind them and then break loose. And they give it to him again, and he almost breaks it out. They're going to be a couple of yards shy of the first down. There was Mike Wright, the middle linebacker out of Bountiful, Utah, makes the tackle.
He's
James shaken up on the play, it would appear.
He seems okay. Depth obviously an issue after LeGarrette Blunt was suspended for the year. LaMichael James, Kenyon Barner, the freshman, come up. They do have senior Andre Crenshaw, but you don't want those numbers to keep going down if you're a Ducks fan.
Here's Jackson Rice to kick again. He was the #1 punter coming out of high school last year. And he's hurrying because of the pressure he's getting. Line drive, and Matthews on the return with that line drive kick. And the return is back to the 36-yard line. Jackson Rice, the punter, made the stop. Ducks by 7. We'll be right back. They got something to cheer about this afternoon. They had a high-scoring win over Purdue of the Big Ten last week, and this afternoon they're facing a Utah team that has won 16 in a row. That's the longest win streak in America, and this sweep right here by the Utes is not going to go anywhere. In fact, that is a loss of 3 by Kane. And Ed, when we look at this gentleman right here, Coach Whittingham, we talk about a decade of dominance, 2 undefeated seasons, 2-0 in BCS bowl games, 2 top 5 rankings in the final AP poll of the season. And you know, this ball club in the last decade has really been impressive.
It's funny. I think his favorite word is aberration. Because people say, oh, you know, Utah's an aberration. He goes, yeah, for some reason we keep having aberrations.
This time they roll the pocket to the right, and the ball is thrown incomplete. And Utah didn't say anything. It happened right in front of their bench. But that was one situation where the defender and the receiver just got their feet tangled up, and he went down. So it brings up a 3rd down and very long situation.
And right now, Terrence Kane, who looked really good on short throws, seems to be overthrowing a lot of his longer balls. This just a corner route thrown late and behind the receiver. So right now it looks like Kane's having a lot more success on hitches and screens.
He's missed 6 in a row. Okay, 3rd down. Line to make, the 46 of Utah. And they scrimmage from their own 34. 14-7, Oregon on top. Kane steps up, now throws, got a man who has been left alone, but the ball is thrown out of bounds. Even if he caught it, it would not have counted. That's Shaky Smithson, junior college player at East Los Angeles Community College.
And this is something, you've got 2 young players, Smithson, first year in the program, Kane, first year in the program. As Smithson went down the field, he ran right by Thurman. who was looking into the backfield, and what Kane needs to do is underthrow that ball, and they would have gotten pass interference because Thurman was beat on the play. Don't overthrow it, underthrow it, get yourself a 15-yard pass interference and the first down.
That is an old trick by the guys in the pros. Here's the punt. Off the side of his foot. Thurman calls for a fair catch and makes the reception. Crowd wanted a flag, but there was not that much there. Ducks still on top, 14-7. Back in Eugene, Washington. Now it is time for today's Aflac Trivia question. How many Oregon players are in the NFL Hall of Fame? How many Oregon players are in the National Football League Hall of Fame? I
knew a couple. There's the obvious Dan Fouts, Mel Renfro, but and all the names on there are big. But I was shocked at that number. It's a very impressive list.
So we got 12:22 left in this first half. And the Ducks back on offense. Jeremiah Masoli, a junior, played at Community College of San Francisco, fakes the run. Now has a man open and threw to the under receiver, and the man on top is the guy who was open. Reese, let's check back in the studio with you at Florida.
Barry, big safety, boom. Big time collision right there. Tebow then apparently enjoyed it, started screaming at his teammates, scored a rushing touchdown. Gators up 10-3.
Okay, Reese, our situation, the play goes for short yardage, going to bring up a 3rd down and long. Masoli on the keeper. Joe Dale made the stop. Well, we're going to talk about on a Did You Know? The lettering style in Oregon's jerseys. It's called the Bellotti Bold, named for their style designer, former head coach Mike Bellotti, currently the AD here.
So that's the guy we blame.
Pass in the flat. Did he turn it upfield in time? Yes, he did. Ed Dixon, the tight end, and that's going to be enough for the first down. But his momentum almost took him out of bounds before he got there.
Yeah, it looked like he got a little bit of favorable spot. Excellent job by Masoli spinning out of the pocket when there's pressure. Defensive front for Utah starting to get good heat. But Masoli did a nice job, and Dixon now with 86 career receptions as tight end. He's starting to get up.
What are your tickets in?
There's a wrestling match afterwards, apparently. They're giving it a measure up there.
Wow, it's amazing. I told you it was close because, you know, he was headed out of bounds, and it looked as though he's not even going to be that close.
And this is where Chip Kelly said, I used to have to listen to the head coach, Mike Bellotti, tell me what we were going to do on 4th down. Now I'm the play caller, and I get to choose when I get 4 downs. I think this is a place. I don't think this offensive line's playing great right now. You're 14-7 at home. I think you may want to punt this away. Utah has been inept on offense the last couple of times they've been out. You don't get this, and I think you change the momentum of the game. I think you punt it away.
Yeah, well, they have not been real good punting. So how about this?
That's a great point.
Let's do. Let's give a hard count and see if the Utes will might give you a free one.
Perhaps a decoy by the Ducks. Wow.
Sorry. Oh, boy. Holy Toledo. So the setback is LaMichael James. 4th down. Keeper, flag is down, and Masoli had turned the corner.
I think they're getting a pre-snap penalty against Oregon.
Prior to the snap, false start.
Wow.
42 on the offense.
Wow.
5-yard penalty.
And remember the safety against Boise State, which set off a whole maelstrom of events that when LeGarrette Blount ran sideways in the end zone, there was penetration by Boise State for a safety. That time they ran more at the line of scrimmage.
Well, let's see what they do, if anything, differently on this punt. Because Utah's lined it up as if they're going to storm the middle. They blocked one and came close on another. And this is off the side of his foot. Wow, but he does get a favorable bounce. Picked up Utah and hit immediately at the 27. It's Matthews. And is there so much water? Neither one of these punters are having a great deal of success.
It's thick enough, and we noticed while we were at break there that it does seem the non-rain rain that they have here at Autzen Stadium seems to have gotten thicker. We've seen a couple of ball handling issues with the quarterbacks, receivers. Remember also that this is one of those turf fields that has the little rubber broken up into it. Sometimes that'll start to stick to the ball, and now that'll make it slip a little more. That could be a problem here right now for both teams.
Asiata checks back into the ball game at tailback. And he stays in to block. Deep pass near sideline and almost intercepted. That was Walter Thurman III on the play, and as far as pass breakups, I believe that's number 36 of his career. He is up there in every category.
Excellent job. See him turn and find the ball. So good ball. Such nice ball awareness by Thurman. A young man who looked into going to the NFL. He had a hip and groin injury last year that slowed him down just enough to come back. And he's got 6 foot really long arms. He plays taller than his height.
Blitz coming off the corner. They go the other way. And Masoli is going to take, not Masoli, but Asiata is going to take it in the vicinity of the 32-yard line. Well, Jimmy Johnson is racing for an historic 4th straight championship, while 4-time NASCAR champion Jeff Gordon and regular season points leader Tony Stewart look to make up some history of their own. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, 1 o'clock Eastern Time on Sunday on ABC. Third down. They got to take it to the 36 to keep this drive going. Blitz coming off that left corner again. Pass in the flat. And just at the last moment, Casey Matthews, the middle linebacker, got a hand up, and it distracted the wide receiver.
Nice pass protection from Utah. You get a linebacker in space against Brooks, and Matthews, of course, if you've heard the name Matthews around the Pac-10 for several years, it's because, of course, his brother was at USC. His father, Clay, played forever.
And Bruce,
uncle was
the uncle, played with the Houston Alders. Good heavens, forever. Former
nice job.
Southern Cal graduate as well. Walter Thurman III is back deep. Already has a 78-yard return for a touchdown, and that ball is blocked. Brandon Baer, the big 6'7" defensive tackle, and he was almost being dragged down on the play, and there was no flag.
And for Oregon, that was a safe look. They left their defense on the field in case it was a fake, but it was a bad snap that pulled the punter over and slowed down his timing. What an excellent hustle play by Baer.
Take a timeout. The Ducks by a touchdown. On the big screen, as you can see, the pictures of Miles Brand. Most people don't realize Miles Brand was not only the president or the head of the NCAA in recent years, but he also was the president of this great university at a time, and they had a special recognition for him with this picture and a moment of silence before this afternoon's ball game. Oregon with a 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line. They're up by 7. Masoli, and they run a reverse. Pitch back goes to Holland. Holland tries to get it outside, and it is a fine defensive play by Utah, because, folks, this young man can fly, and it really didn't develop the way you thought it might.
We talked about getting him the ball in creative ways. They faked the zone read. A really excellent pitch by Masoli. Hit 19 right between the numbers. Just a little too much dancing. That's the one thing when you talk to the offensive staff. He's just got to get north-south sometimes.
That'll be enough for the first down. LaMichael James, and it's Robert Johnson on the stop. Reese Davis, let's check with you again.
Ron, Oklahoma and Tulsa. Tulsa's had the ball in Oklahoma territory 4 times, got no points out of it. After G.J. Kinney threw an interception in the end zone, Landry Jones of the Sooners hit Brandon Caleb for a touchdown. Second time those two have hooked up today, 17-0.
So we are back. LaMichael Wright now beginning to get a little rhythm of his own, as middle linebacker Mike Wright had to put the stop on him.
And now Oregon getting a little bit of rhythm, so now they're going to speed up their snap, which I think You know, they can go fast. I like this.
And this time, James misses the cut right there, and his feet slip out from under it. Well, here's the answer. The question today of the Aflac trivia question: how many Oregon players are in the NFL Hall of Fame? And that total is 6. And there they are: Norm Van Brocklin, Dan Fouts, Tubby Lehmans, Mel Renfro, Dave Wilcox, and Gary Zimmerman. Ball throws, comeback route, and he fell down and couldn't make the catch at the 25, and it's Jeff Mayo.
Noticing on film, watching Oregon against Purdue, and then here today and seeing them, this is the last year that they're going to play on this turf. And I think it might be because you're seeing a lot of this now. Guys seem to be missing losing their footing a lot. James on that last cut lost footing, even though there was a guy from Utah there. And now
they're going to go for this. It's 4th down. They've got to take it to the 33-yard line, and I thought Utah had put their punt return team in already. Throws the pass, and it is too tall, incomplete, and Utah will take it over at the 40-yard line. It's David Paulson, the intended receiver. Well, boy, he had him open.
Yeah, wide open.
Golly.
And Masoli, it was a bad snap. He had to stick it. It went to his right side. He had to grab it. I wonder if maybe he didn't get the laces. And look at Kelly right there. Flick it. Flick it. Don't. A guy who's not a natural quarterback, and Masoli is not a natural quarterback. He played a bunch of other positions as a young man, and Kelly had the perfect call dialed up. I do like the aggressive call, though, because they've had trouble punting. Who knows where that thing's going to go? And he had the perfect play. Just was not executed.
And when you're struggling the way this Oregon offense is struggling with the offensive line, you don't need to keep shooting yourself in the foot. This Utah team doesn't need any help. They're good enough to do it on their own.
And going back to what Kelly was showing Masoli there, guys who aren't natural quarterbacks will tend to try to aim it, like a pitcher, and they get wild with that. So he's saying, just let it go. Just flick it. You're going to get it there. You got plenty of room.
So the umpire steps in and moves the ball back about a half a yard. And Zane Taylor, the big junior center out of Moab, Utah, goes down over the football. You can see Oregon faking the blitz, and now an audible being called by Terrence Kane. And here they come with the blitz. Run comes the other way, and that is Asiati, and he will take it close to the 50-yard line and going to spot him down at the 49. Well, whether you're living in the Chicagoland area or it's still just your heart that never left there, log on to ESPN.com Chicago for local coverage. We're going to have to finish this one in a little bit. Long promo, short distance in between plays here. 2nd down and short. They need about 1.5 yards for the first. Fake blitz in the middle, didn't come. Asiati hit and knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. And I'll tell you, if they don't pick up the 1st down, put an asterisk by that play, because Brandon Baird not only has blocked a punt, he has had an influence on sweeps, on punts, on everything today.
And they're putting a lot on a quarterback making his first start in a very loud on-the-road stadium. They see what the defense does. They make the call. And I know that's the thing in college football. I think Utah just needs to start calling some plays and letting this quarterback, who looked really nice in the first couple of series, settle in and just play ball.
3rd down. They got to take it to the 50-yard line. Pass knocked down and almost intercepted. Good heavens. That might have gone for a touchdown. Tuquafu stepped in front. Will Tuquafu, a senior from Salt Lake City.
What a nice job by Tuquafu. He did not rush, 3-man rush, and he is actually reading the eye. Excuse me, that's a linebacker, Paysinger.
And that is 6 pass breakups by Oregon in this football game.
That was a great read by Paysinger.
Well, this punt not real long, but a little ball is muffed and picked up by Utah at the 26-yard line, and they step out of bounds. Oh, my goodness. You get what you want, and Justin Taplin-Ross will come up with the loose football as it was muffed. Coming up, trying to make the catch on the run was Walter Thurman III, and he couldn't hold on to it.
Well, he should have made a fair catch. With that many white shirts, he should have made a fair catch. Instead, he's trying to make a big play in a bunch of traffic and took his eye off the ball, trying to see if he could set up another big return. That's a mental error by a senior.
Well, we'll see if it cost him. They had a blocked punt, cost him a touchdown. That was from 19 yards out, and this time they give the ball away at their own 29. Terrence Kane, lots of time. Now the pressure comes over the middle, and is it caught or was it trapped? And the official right on the play did not make a call. Is he going to say catch? Well, they're going to spot the ball inside the 5, but we still don't have a...
My sense is that this ball is incomplete. You know why? Because 52,000 people, I think, just saw the replay on the big board.
Well, it's a trap. I mean, yeah, it's got to come back to the line of scrimmage.
Well,
Ed.
Well, did it hit his arm or
his arms are open and it hits the turf?
Yeah.
That's Brooks.
I couldn't tell. It definitely bounced up, and he was trying to get his arm underneath it. I think you're right. I think it did hit the turf, but you probably should take a look, a couple different angles at this deal. But Brooks, if that ball is thrown on time accurately, Brooks walks in.
Next thing, this year's Oregon Sports Network television affiliates. Comcast Sportsnet 37, Fox TV, Kansas, Eugene.
Well, you see it bounce up. Yeah, it bounced up off the ground.
Let's look at that other angle from the front and go really slow and see. I'm not disagreeing. I think you're probably right. I'm just wondering if that arm.
37, by definition, 737.
Yep. It hit the ground. Good effort, though.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, good effort. But Brooks made a unbelievable move on Lewis. He spun him completely around. Now, get your quarterback to start throwing a little accurately, get Brooks to get a little more confident in catching the ball, and this young man is going to end up having some big numbers, just a junior.
Also, give a lot of credit to the Utah offensive line. He has had
some time,
virtually, as the expression goes, all day to stand in the pocket. That time it was finally they were coming with some pressure.
Watch the one-on-one. Excuse me. He is the slot receiver. And watch this move. He's working on a safety, so it's a little bit of a mismatch. The corner comes underneath, and he pushed him to the outside. That's called stemming your route, where you run like you're running straight down the stem, and then the defensive back doesn't know where you're going. You plant one foot, come back in, and that planted foot makes that safety turn his hips just slightly to the outside.
Review, the pass is ruled incomplete. Second down at the 29.
But every defensive back will tell you there's nothing worse than when a guy's running right at you and he plants that foot and he looks like he's going to break to the outside, because you have to turn your hips. And if he's good, plants and cuts, you can't recover.
Eddie Wide is the tailback. It is second down and 10. They scrimmage from the Oregon 29-yard line. Ducks lead at 14-7. And we have just under 7 minutes to play until halftime. Nothing. In fact, that's going to be a loss of a couple, and who is there again? Brandon's name is Brandon Bair, B-A-I-R, but he has been a B-E-A-R this afternoon. And I'll tell you, this guy has just been a pain for the Utah football team.
And he only goes about 250 pounds, so he's a tall, lean guy. But when we were talking to Nick Alioti, he's tough enough to play inside. Probably built more like a defensive end, which is where he'll line up on the left side of Utah's offensive line this time. But you're right, Ron. He has been a monster.
And he and his wife just had a new baby named Brooklyn. Third down. They're going to take it to the 19-yard line to keep this drive going. Terrence Kane looking, gets it away, and the ball is intercepted. Thurman with the interception, and a flag is down across the way.
Yeah, there was a pre-snap penalty. And it's going to be against Utah, and they're going to dodge a huge bullet right now because Thurman was trying to make up for his error.
Snap, false start on the offense.
Boy, what a
5-yard
big break for
penalty.
Utah.
Third down. Will the timer please reset the play clock?
We need to check the P in somebody's whistle. Are they blowing it? Because the kids are not hearing it.
No.
We've talked about how loud it is in the stadium, but this is 3 plays now that have started, and you know the play should have been whistled down, as the expression goes.
Well, and once all the other officials see the guy blowing, they all have to start blowing too. It's a safety issue to get the play stopped.
5 yards. Move 5 yards back, and they still got to go to the 19. Oregon coming with a blitz out in the flat. Pass is caught, gets by one tackler, but will be knocked out of bounds at the 31.5-yard line. Now, here's the situation that I look at. They have got a field goal kicker. Phillips has won the job on anything inside of 40, but Vroman has kicked the ball 60 and 62 yards in practice, and will we see them go for the distance field goal here?
I think with the weather, no. And again, it's 4th and long, but you're in that situation where if you kick it, it gets blocked, you miss it. I think this is the right decision, because if you punt this in the end zone, you only get it back out to the 20, and their field goal kickers have not been good.
4th down. Oregon shows blitz, and here they come with it, and he is hit and is sacked back at the 43-yard line. Casey Matthews, yes, of the Matthews clan. There's another one in college football, and he's going to be good just like everybody else in his family.
Nothing too fancy. Just a linebacker running right between the center and the guard. The running back was late getting over there. They had Eddie White in, and he misread who he's supposed to pick up.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Casey showed a lot of speed because he was on the quarterback before he could even attempt to move. Play action. The ball is caught at the 45. Tackle broken by Holland. Cuts it back into the middle, and he's down at the 35-yard line. Lamar Chapman was Johnny on the spot because that would have gone for a touchdown.
And Holland, a young man who has had some trouble catching the ball. He actually had trouble catching this ball. He had to catch it a second time as it pops out there for a second. But once he has the ball in his hands, these coaches are so excited about what he can do, and very lucky that that was not called a personal foul.
Masoli's going to hold on to it. Will have the first down, and he'll be knocked out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Joe Dale got out there. Well, Masoli was being patient and was looking and waiting, and then he thought, I can't wait any longer. You got 12 yards, you can pick it up, do it.
It's almost like we're seeing the confidence start to build for this offense and this offensive line.
Good point. It's a really good point. Stadium clock shows 4:47 until halftime. Keeper faked everybody. He will walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Masoli. Ducks up 20-7 or 20-7. Yes. Well, the expression on that young lady's face said a lot. There's a lot of football left to be played, but remember, it is Utah who comes in here with a 16-game winning streak, the longest in the country, and they've won 9 in a row on the road. Flint tries to make it a 14-point lead, Oregon, and he does. And here's what it looks like in the end zone. What a fake. The defensive end just totally got suckered in. Masoli walks it in. It's a 2-touchdown lead.
National championship game. Nebraska resorted to a trick play, now simply known as the fumble rooster. Quarterback Turner Gale gently dropped the snap onto the ground, leaving it for All-America guard Dean Steinkuhler to rumble in for a touchdown. Follow the top 30 count.
Return from the 3, Shaky Smithson, and Smithson will be stopped at the 20-yard line. By the way, Turner Gill won the MAC championship in 2008 as the head coach at Buffalo. And play number 27 is going to be revealed next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time. Steinkerter ran pretty well for a guard. Remember him when he came to Houston, played for the Oilers for a number of years.
I'll never forget that play. So much confusion. The camera went the other way. No one knew what was going on. Just perfectly designed.
When it's run right, you lose everybody. You're right. Asiata comes back into the ball game, a tailback for the Utes. Tries the left side. Bit of an opening there. Has 5, 6, and 7. And Paysinger makes the tackle. Let's go back to the touchdown, and boy, what a fake.
Yeah, Sylvester's going to come off the end. He gets the read. But what I like is this block right here by the tight end going up on the safety. This is Ed Dixon working on Joe Dale. Gets him to stay inside. And really nice job staying on his feet. That's why it's a walk-in touchdown, because the backside tight end got a great block.
Second down and 4. They roll the pocket. And Kane is going to keep it and then be knocked out of bounds at the 26-yard line. So they're still 4 yards shy. That's Javis Lewis who came over.
And for Jeremiah Masoli, not great throwing it yet. That'll come along, but the difference this offense going forward is going to be that exact play, because he is such a good ball faker. He really does a nice job of sticking it in, and it's so hard for the defense to find it. They've got a good one in him here at Oregon.
Utah is 2 of 10 on third down conversions, and they have missed the last 7. 3.5 minutes left until halftime. Ducks by 14. Now they're going to get a free one here as you see the defender clapping his hands together.
Game by the offense. 5-yard.
But don't forget, tonight in Austin, Texas, it'll be the Red Raiders coming to town to take on the Texas Longhorns on the 40 acres. 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Central, 5 out here on the Pacific Coast. Texas number 2 in the nation, and the Longhorns looking for a little revenge after last year's last-second, an Ivy League last-second touchdown by Texas Tech.
And Utah, I was surprised. They got them because an offensive lineman flinched. It looked to me like Oregon was in the neutral zone when that happened.
But the defender sure thought he was offside, didn't he?
Yes,
we saw his reaction. So it's 3rd down and 8. Here comes pressure. Kane is so smooth, and now he runs back into the middle of the field, trying to ad-lib, and will be tackled short of the first down at the 29. Talmadge Jackson III defensively. And that was Tuquafu, who was applying the pressure. Will Tuquafu, number 39, the senior out of Salt Lake.
Well, I don't think you go for this. Kane is walking over the offensive line, still on the field. It looks like the punt unit. Yeah, they're coming out. Sorry. For a minute there, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I know you're down 14, but 2:18. Now, if you're Oregon, if I'm Utah, I'm going to let this clock run down as far as I can. Oregon's going to have this thing back in pretty good position with 3 timeouts left.
Here comes the flag for... A flag has been called because a timeout was called by Utah. Reese Davis, let's check back in with you.
Ron, coming up on the Bud Light halftime report, wait till you see the collision, literally, between a couple of All-Americans. Tim Tebow.
Okay, Reese, so our situation right here is punting time for Utah, not taking the chance. They're down by 14 points as we have 2:03 remaining until halftime.
It's been a rather wild first half when it comes to special teams, so this a key play for Utah. They need to get a boomer here.
Well, they need to get a block on Brandon Baer, number 88. This is the best punt of the afternoon. High-hanging spiral, and the fair catch is called for at the 32-yard line by Thurman.
And with college timing rules, this is forever. Minute 56, 3 timeouts. Now, your offensive line is green, so you want to keep things simple for your offensive line because they're going to get tired during this drill. But you've got a quarterback who's been here a couple of times. You can do anything in your playbook, but be ready to call that timeout. You've got 3 of them. Don't let 12, 14, 15 seconds go between plays. Use a timeout if you have to.
So the Ducks, as Ed said, with all 3 timeouts remaining, have a first down just across their own 30. And the read play, and it's not going to go anywhere. James is tackled at the 26-yard line. And Crenshaw, beg your pardon.
Well, and this is where you would use a timeout. An offensive lineman is down for Oregon, so they are going to have to use a timeout. But when you have a play that blows up like that, and it's going to take you that long to get back to the line, that's the perfect time to use that timeout.
So the clock did run all the way down to 1 minute and 40 seconds, showing until halftime.
That looks like Bo Tron, the left tackle. Doesn't it? Yeah. And he's their best player. So an offensive line that was already inexperienced and thin.
So Bo is getting up, the junior out of Gresham, Oregon. He can play any of those positions inside as well as tackle. And with 1 minute 40 showing on the clock until halftime, they just want to make sure that they can get him back in okay position to play in that second half. Darian Weems, a sophomore, junior college transfer from Taft Junior College in California, will come in, number 74.
And he's most likely going against Misi, who's been playing great.
Masoli has a man open, and he bounced it into his receiver. So that stops the clock. It's going to be third down. And if you're Utah, of course, you only have 1 timeout left. But they still stand. Nobody has kicked the ball in this weather. Nobody has kicked the ball more than 40 yards this afternoon, either side. So they stand to get pretty doggone good field position if they can stop the play right here. Fakes it to Crenshaw. Pressure from the backside, and the ball hit the defender in the back of the headgear. That was Derek Shelby when the pass was gotten off. He went out to cover.
And Masoli was trying to get it to David Paulson, the tight end who was blocking, didn't even turn around. And Utah was done a huge favor because 2 incomplete balls in a row, minute 21. They get to keep that timeout in their hip pocket. First-year starter Terrence Kane, let's see what he can do if he gets decent field position.
This is Jackson Rice. Good time. His average is well over 40. And it's a good time for him to get one of those away if you are an Oregon fan. Here's the boot. Again, it's a line drive. And it takes a Utah bounce and is going to be touched down by Oregon. They're going to have the football at the 42-yard line.
That was huge, and you can see Tom Osborne, the special teams coordinator, talking to the true freshman Rice. Rice is struggling today.
Boy, 29 yards on that kick.
I think getting one block got in his head. I think that now he's worried about the rush. Punters cannot look at the rush. They have to focus on the ball they're kicking, and I think this young man is a little shaken from that block.
Tell you what, at this stadium, all of a sudden, it's just gone silent.
And they need to get up if they want to do something.
Yep. I mean, they lead by 14, and I'm sure they would like to take that in at halftime. Late blitz. Kane runs out of the pocket and now just throws it away.
Well, everybody's getting a jump start on hot dogs and sodas right when they're needed the most by their Ducks. I mean, the walkways are full of people diving out to go to the restroom and everything else. And
well, the only guy who hasn't left that I can see down there in that cheering section is the guy in the green outfit.
Well, he's not going anywhere. He's Green Man. I met him before the game.
There he is right there.
I've got a story about him.
Oh my goodness. I bet he has some stories. That pass is caught and close to the first down as he stretched it out. That is Key, Iona Key, a senior from Citrus Heights, California.
What an excellent effort by Key as he's going down to stretch that ball out and stop the clock. by picking up the first down. That's a double dip for him. Get the first down and stop the clock, and Utah's right back on it. Nice job.
1st and 10. They have it across midfield at the Oregon 48-yard line. Kane throws this one complete. Same side of the field. David Reed steps out of bounds, but not before he picked up the first down. And at this rate right here, as little time as they're using, they could score and still leave time on the clock.
What a wonderful job by Kane so far. A lot of experience at high level. Played in the Junior College National Championship game, so he's been under some pressure, but there's not this many people watching. He looks great.
Great protection. Dumps it off. That's Asiata. And Asiata will take it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line.
Well, I think you should get your timeout. He's trying to change people.
Casey Matthews made that tackle there. Right back at the line of scrimmage. 25 seconds. Down to 24. Kane looking, now going to run, throws it across the middle, safety valve, and it will be enough for the first down. It's Shaky Smithson on the receiving end.
Now you've got 16 seconds and 1 timeout. You can get at least 3 plays off before you have to try a field goal.
12 seconds, down to 11.
Ball grounded by Kane.
It was grounded by Kane, so it never got to 11. Clock is stopped with 12 seconds. Okay, Ed, you got the 1 timeout left, so you run another play.
Oh, absolutely. Possibly 2, and you don't have to throw it to the end zone with that timeout. That's the beauty. Once you run out of that timeout, then you have to throw it into the end zone so it's incomplete or touchdown so you can get your field goal out. But with the timeout, does not have to go into the end zone.
Kyle Whittingham still very cool, calm, and collected on the sideline. Second down from the 18-yard line. 12 seconds left in the half. Ducks 21-7. Looking, dumps it out of the backfield. This is Smithson at the 10. Takes it down to the 5, and it's Asiata. I beg your pardon. Number 4 rather than number 1, and he's forced out just inside the 4-yard line.
Huge decision time. You have time for one more play. Is it a field goal, or are you going for a touchdown? Wonderful job by Asiata, keeping his balance. But remember, the field goal kicking, Louis Sakota, the great kicker, is no longer here. Joe Phillips took over one time, and they're going to take a timeout and talk about it, and I don't blame them.
Spanning the West, 10 preeminent universities create a rich learning experience as vast and diverse as the territory itself, where student athletes strive for academic excellence and compete at the highest level, where leaders flourish and success grows right along with the reputation that comes from winning more NCAA.
Clock. You know, I think you got to get points. And the ball rests at the 2.5-yard line is where they wound up spotting it. Ed, I don't know if I'd take a chance on running the football or not.
I'm with you except for the kicking situation. That's the only reason that I think Utah's talking about it. Joe Phillips took over last week. He's 1 for 1 in his career. Ben Broman was struggling. He was 1 for 4. You've got an athletic quarterback that's coming out on offense. Yep. I think you've got to move him. You've got to let him run. Give him a run pass option.
So here's what should be the final play of the first half at the 2.5-yard line. Fade route in the end zone. Too tall. David Reed, the intended receiver. And quite frankly, of all the plays in the Utah playbook, that's not the one I thought they would elect to come up with.
I'm with you. And Walter Thurman, the best corner maybe in the Pac-10, is on that side. Move it around a little bit.
So we are at halftime, and our score, Oregon 21 and Utah 7.